Appreciate the time, Mike.
I was on the treadmill, man. I didn't know this was going on.
Oh, wow.
I got the yeah. I got the text, and I'm running, and I'm like, oh, right now? All right.
Luckily, you're familiar with the process, so it's not a problem.
Let me get ready.
That's fun. Listen, Mike, at this point, you guys have prepared for, probably every fighter on the UFC roster, right? So what's the most difficult, challenging process of getting ready for Conor McGregor?
It's the same process of every fight. He's a very skilled fighter, tough fighter, big power, great timing, and he brings a lot of eyeballs to the fight. Every fight is equally as difficult to prepare for, I think.
You talk about his power and that. One of the things you think about with Dustin Poirier is how durable he is, right? You think, okay, man, he can go long, he can be in these wars, but when you're going against a guy that has the type of power that Conor does, can you rely on that and say, well, we know our guy may get touched up early, but we know he'll last?
No, of course we don't want to get touched up. The plan is not to get hit at all. That's always the plan. Sometimes that happens. That's the fight game. But, he can. We can get through it many different ways. Of course we don't want to get hit.
Yeah. When you look at Conor striking, what do you credit it to? It seems like this otherworldly thing that he's able to knock people out with quickness. Is there some God-given ability that he has, or is it about his accuracy? Is it about the timing that he has? Is it the traps he sets? What is it that makes him so effective that maybe others aren't?
I think he's has good timing with his counterpunching. I think that's his best attribute.
Nice. The Abu Dhabi experience. Last time it was kind of more tailored to the time. Right now you're doing the middle of the night thing and all that. How much more challenging has that been this time around for Dustin and for the whole team, really?
We came out a little bit earlier. I think our sleeping patterns are on 100% where we'd like to be. I'm really glad that we did. We took that second charter, and we had, I think, 10 or 11 days here in Abu Dhabi, and I think now we're on point, waking up exactly when we want to wake up. We'll have a certain amount of hours before we leave the hotel and go to the fight. I think actually better than even a normal fight week, where sometimes you're waiting around all day to go to the venue. It's better to get some food in you, digest a little bit, go to the fight and perform. And I think that's when guys perform the best, and I think we're right where we want to be.
Nice. Last thing for me, give us some insight into Dustin's mindset, I guess, right? He's fought nothing but killers, like the absolute best of the best. But is there anything different here in terms of his drive, his motivation, whether it's because it's a rematch, whether it's because it's Conor, as you said, massive star and all the eyeballs? Is there anything different about this fight from Dustin's mentality that you see?
He's a veteran, he's a professional, and that's how he approaches each fight. He's had many big fights. A Khabib title fight is huge, is a monster fight. Title fight with Max Holloway is a monster fight. Fight with Gaethje, former world champion, these are all monster fights. This is another very big fight, and that's how he's approached it. And he's a 40-fight veteran now, and fought all the toughest guys in the world, and he's prepared.
In terms of the sleep schedule, have you guys been trying to go to sleep to wake up at a certain amount of hours before the fight, or have you tried to just be getting used to fighting early, so you wake up and go to a fight? Which sort of idea have you tried to manufacture?
He's waking up a certain amount of hours before he'd like to fight. How much time is good for him to no longer be groggy, have some food, digest, and where he thinks he'll be comfortable for his body. Everybody, I think, peaks at a different time in the day when they feel their best, and this is where we're at, the best spot for Dustin.
Obviously, before the first fight, there's the famous clip on the embedded where he said, I've never hated anyone as much as I hate Conor and stuff like that. Do you prefer the dynamic now? They're respectful, they're both fathers, and it seems to just be much more charitable than they did.
Yeah, he's been emotional, in the past in fights. He's been emotional in fights and won also. But I always think it's better to pull away the emotion. I think it's better to think with your brain and not your heart, and get emotional, and you tend to lose sight of technique and the job that needs to be done when you fight with that type of emotion. And yeah.
There's been talk, obviously a lot of the media before the fight's been focused on Conor, and there's been talk that maybe Dustin's just being completely overlooked. Does that sway him at all? Does he actually almost appreciate that he can kind of just let the show go on and he can just do his own work in the background and just sharpen fight night?
Yeah, I think that's the case. I think he likes to be in the background. I think he's been overlooked many times, and he's overcome that that situation many times over. So I think he enjoys that role.
Where do you think that comes from? Because I remember talking to him before the Dan Hooker fight, where he was the favorite, and a lot of people were kind of expecting him to win. He's like, I don't like this at all. Like, I'd rather the roles be reversed here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure where it comes from, but some people love the camera and love the attention. I don't think he necessarily loves that. And he's very good at it. I think he's very good on camera. He's very good. He's a great speaker, but he just doesn't. I don't think that's something that he enjoys. Some people live for that part of the game. He lives, to compete, to fight, and to make money.
Conor and his team like to be kind of bold with the pre-fight predictions and throw it out there. Do you have anything you want to say ahead of this fight in that regard?
Man, fights can go all kinds of different ways, and I'm often wrong when I do predict. So I don't like feeling stupid after I make a terrible prediction. So I'm not going to go out on a limb, but I feel confident in victory.
A lot's been made of, obviously, you brought it up, Conor's counter punching and his striking, but as a coach, what do you make of his defensive wrestling and his grappling?
It's good. I think he showed a lot of great defense against Khabib. Khabib was in many times, and he was countering very well and fought him off, made him work very hard. I think his wrestling looks sharp. He looks like he's got very good hips. I would assume he's very strong. He does have a tendency to fade late, but he seems like a very athletic guy.
And then a lot's been made this week of Max Holloway's performance, that he's the best boxer in the UFC. Conor kind of laughed at that. So as a coach, who would you kind of put in that category of some of the better boxers in this promotion?
I mean, all these guys are up there. Dustin is up there. Conor's up there. Max is up there. Masvidal's up there. Until they have a boxing match or boxing fight, we'll never know. So it's all speculation and kind of silly.
Back to the treadmill.
Thank you.